Well, hello everyone. Hoping every one of you is well, every one of you is fine, and that everyone in your families are doing well too. We are already in the festivities, season of festivities, and Navratri is already started. And hoping that you all will be finding time to study, but then I am also hoping you all will be finding time and reasons to celebrate, reasons to enjoy, and reasons to thank God the Almighty, or thank whatever you all are, whoever you all are worshipping, that this year we have still made it far without any much or without any such problems, and so that the coming year and the remaining of this year also goes on well for all of us. Hoping that you all, okay, this year we will not be experiencing Durga Puja or the other festivals the way we used to usually. Festivities will be toned down. Most of us won't be going outside. Then there are no pandals to visit. There will be no such celebrations. But then we can always celebrate in our heart. Let our hearts be filled with happiness, and let us find ways to celebrate, reasons to celebrate. Celebration can always happen in the family, celebration can happen within your mind itself. So hoping you all will be doing that, you all will be staying happy. And well, what to say, when we are talking of all these things, there is something else also to be kept in mind. Many of us did not have such a good year. Many of us faced many difficulties. Some in their families, they went through a lot of struggle. Some may have suffered through COVID. So all these things, let us pray for each other. Let us pray for the world, so that the world, we can come out of this crisis without any much more harm, and that we can resume life as it was, or as we knew it. Once again, in this, before I start with the video, I'll be speaking of a few things. You see, right now is the time to come and experience things which you all know, or so as to, this is the time so that you all can start experiencing things and start experiencing life. You all can understand what you want to do with your life, so start exploring different avenues, start exploring different career options, start searching in the internet about different careers, about what you can do with your life, so that you all do not just have a vague idea what you want in life, but that you all know for sure what is that you want to make out of your life. Because if we do not know that, then the remaining of the life becomes a bit tad bit boring. If you know what you want to do with your life, it becomes much more simpler. So this is the time so as to explore whatever you all want to do. What is that you love? What is that subject you like to study? What is that stream which you want to take up? Do you want to become an engineer? Do you want to become a cook? Do you want to become an artist? Do you want to become a geographer? Do you want to become an archaeologist? All these things, this is the time you all have got. Do not take this lockdown thing as something of a curse. This is actually a boon for you all. Explore this, explore yourself, explore your different ambitions, ideas, the wishes. This is the time so as to get to know yourselves so very well. And well, stay happy, and spend a lot of time with your family. With all this, let us just I know it is once again season of festivities, but then we have to do a bit of study. So let us just start studying. And once again, a happy Navratra to all of you. May the goddess of power, may the goddess, we worship Lady Durga as Shakti. So let the power of Ma Durga stay with you all, so that you all can come out of this crisis kind of a thing without any harm, and everyone you all know, everyone you all care about, stay out of harm's way too. So let us go back to studies. And so we are talking of Aladin Khilji, and when we are talking of Aladin Khilji, it is very important to keep in mind that he was the one who was trying to revive the lost prestige of the Delhi Sultanate. During the time of Balban, Delhi Sultanate had become very strong, but in his later years and after Balban, the Delhi Sultanate had lost quite its prestige. Alauddin Khilji tried to revive some of that, and he believed in one thing. He believed that people should believe, so Alauddin Khilji believed that people should believe that the king is actually sent by God, and that the king should work and he should do things in accordance with the wishes of God, and the people should follow the king's or should follow the king as if he is an incarnation of God himself. So this is what Alauddin Khilji believed. Alauddin Khilji believed that nobles should fear him. Alauddin Khilji knew one thing: so as to stay strong, so as to have a very strong empire, he needed to have his nobles to obey him and to respect him and not to conspire against him. So Alauddin Khilji brought in a number of reforms. Gambling was prohibited, use of liquor was prohibited, that is, use of alcohol was prohibited for the nobles, and the nobles could not gather together, they could not party, they could not meet for any kind of festivities without the permission of Alauddin Khilji. Alauddin Khilji also had a spy system so as to look into the affairs of the nobles and so as to understand those who are conspiring against him, plotting against him, or Shadyantra Rachra against him. He did all these things so as to bring back the respect and the prestige of the monarchy. He understood that the nobles should bow down before him so as to rule in peace, and he knew that his kingdom will become prosperous only if there is the people of the kingdom, the nobles especially, they behave well and they stay in line. That is, they do not quarrel against each other and they do not conspire against the government, the center. Now there were a few other things. He took away most of the lands which had been given as gifts to the Muslim landlords and also to the Hindu landlords. So why so? Why did I mention this separately? I could have just said that Alauddin Khilji took away all the lands which had been gifted previously to the landlords in India. I mentioned this separately, that he took away the lands from the Muslim landlords and from also the Hindu landlords, because the treatment of the Hindu landlords which was given by Alauddin Khilji was very harsh actually. It was harsh for the Muslim landlords too, but it was typically harsh for the Hindu landlords, who were called the Chaudharis. So that is why I had to separately mention them. Now, when we are talking of this, why did he take away all these lands which had been given previously? He took away all these lands which had been given previously because he believed that those lands which had been given to the landlords, those lands, you all know, those lands were tax-free lands, so the landlords would not or did not have to pay any taxes. And when they were not paying any taxes, they were becoming the zamindars of those lands, and they could raise an army over there so as to fight against the king himself, emperor himself, sultan himself. So Alauddin Khilji did not want such a situation to arise. That is why he took away all the land, and also it increased the amount of tax which he was receiving. Previously he was receiving no tax from those lands, but now he started receiving taxes from those lands. What it actually did is that Alauddin Khilji got extra money so as to work for the welfare of the people. So people were happy. One more very important thing which Alauddin Khilji did was his market regulations. This is something which should be tried to or should be copied by most modern governments. He brought in market reforms, and there was one thing to be kept in mind in particular. That one thing is that the market reforms brought in by Alauddin Khilji, there was one very important or special thing, that is that this market reform which was started by Alauddin Khilji, what happened is that in the market, the prices of commodities were fixed and there were separate markets for separate kinds of goods. There was one market for food grains, sugar, cooking oil. There was another for cloth, and there was another market for horses, cattle and slaves. So market was divided and the prices of the commodities was fixed. And he had kept an efficient spy system so as to look into the market, so as to see if all the sellers and all the people in the market, they are working and they are following the rules of the Sultan, that is Alauddin Khilji. And there was another very important thing. He had appointed two officials. The names, well, I have to read out that name. That is, first is Diwani Riyasat and the Shahanai Mandi. These two officials were appointed so as to look into the matters of the market and so as to see that no one was cheating customers, no one was overpricing, no one was also underpricing, no one was selling things at a huge profit, and also people were keeping the weights proper. Meaning of this weights proper is that they were not cheating people in terms of weight. Wazan nahi maar raha tha, that is what we know as in Hindi. So this was done by Aladin Khilji, and this brought back a lot of prestige which had been lost in the years before Aladin Khilji. Next, Aladin Khilji died, and after that, it was Ghazi Malik who took over the throne of Delhi. And Ghazi Malik, he took over the name as Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. He died. Well, it is said that Muhammad bin Tughlaq orchestrated his death. It is that he built a big pavilion for welcoming his uncle, and as he was passing from under the pavilion collapsed, and the weight of the pavilion, it fell on the elephant and also on Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, and he died. And the next person to sit on the throne was his nephew, that is Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq has been referred to by many names in in Indian history. Most importantly, he has been referred to as the Mad King, or the king who took very different kind of decisions. What were those decisions? Let us talk of these decisions. But then, one thing has to be kept in mind. History has not treated this person in a way that he should have been treated. His ideas, his reforms, his the policies which he brought out, they were too modern for his age. It means that those same policies were executed centuries after him, decades after him, but somehow due to sheer luck, it failed for Muhammad bin Tughlaq. But these were very important policies, very well laid out policies. He was an educated man and he thought a lot. So he brought in all these policies, but then they were not maybe implemented properly. People did not execute the policies properly. And what happened is that these policies failed, and he was referred to as the Mad King. Now, what were those policies? The first one, taxation and doab. Doab, it means, do means two, and ab means the land between the river. So the land between two rivers is called doab. Now, doab, there's that fertile land which is there in between the two rivers, Ganga and Yamuna. So there is periodic flooding of Ganga and Yamuna. They bring in the new silt and it is deposited on the banks. And the banks of the Ganga and Yamuna, they are very fertile. So this land is called the Doab. Now this land, this Doab, it is very, very important. Why is it so? This Doab is important because when we are talking of this fertile land, the Doab, this Doab area, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he understood that he can get more revenue from this area because it was a fertile area. People were getting a lot of crops. They were growing a lot of crops in that area. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he understood that I can raise the tax of that area so that people will also not face a lot of loss. Why? Because they are already producing a lot, and I will also my treasury will become rich, and I will be using that extra money for the welfare of the people. It was a good idea, but it failed. Why did it fail? Because there was successive droughts in those areas. 2 साल 3 साल लगातार सूखा पड़ गया वो एरिया में. And what happened was that Muhammad bin Tughlaq, his officers, they did not understand the situation, and they were demanding money from the people even though there was a situation of famine. So there was not proper rain, and crops did not grow well, and people were still being forced by the officers of Muhammad bin Tughlaq so as to give the extra amount of money which had been increased. And people started running from there, people started moving out from there, and there was chaos. So this plan failed. Why did it fail? It was a well laid out plan, well thought out plan. Had the famine not happened, had the Sukha drought situation not arisen, this plan would have succeeded, but it did not succeed because of nature. Next, transfer of capital. Now he wanted to transfer the capital. Now you see, if you look at the map, it is there in the book. During the time of Aladin Khilji, the Delhi Sultanate had nearly occupied the entire India and ruling in Delhi the entire area. And nowadays it is easy for anyone sitting in Delhi to rule over India. Why? Because we have telecommunication, we have satellite communication, we have teleconferencing, we have uh, Google Meet, we have Skype, we have Zoom, we have so many different things. So a person sitting in Delhi, he can see what is going on in Chennai. A person in Chennai can tell whatever is happening in Delhi, whatever is happening in Chennai, in the state of Tamil Nadu, to the person who is sitting in Delhi. But back then, we are talking of the 1400s, the 1300s, this was not the case. So, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he understood that ruling from Delhi, the entire area, because if you look at the map, Delhi is there in the northern part of India, and ruling, sitting in the northern part of India and ruling the entire area, the east, the south, the west, it becomes difficult. So he understood that how about I shift the capital to somewhere in the center. Now, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he could have done one thing. He could have asked his ministers, he could have asked his followers that please, those who want to come with me, please come with me to the new capital, and the rest, those who are the normal citizens, ordinary citizens of Delhi, you can stay wherever you all are staying. Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he did not want to do that. He wanted the entire Delhi to move from Delhi to Daulatabad. Daulatabad is somewhere there in central India, in the state of modern day state of Telangana, and it was called Devgiri back then. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq ordered the entire city of Delhi to move from move from Tughlaqabad, actually, that is Tughlaqabad is there in Delhi, to move from Delhi, and the entire city had to be shifted to Daulatabad. So the entire city started moving. All the citizens started moving. Along with them, everything started moving which they had. So this was an idea which was bound to fail. Had Muhammad bin Tughlaq only asked or ordered his nobles and a few other important people to come with him to Daulatabad and left the ordinary citizens in Delhi itself, it would have been a very successful plan, and it was a brilliant plan. But because he ordered the entire city to move, people started getting angry. Even though they moved to Daulatabad, the area was not suitable for so many people, it could not support so many people, it was not a very fertile kind of an area, and people did not want to, people were unhappy. So what happened? Muhammad bin Tughlaq again shifted the capital back from everything which had come from Delhi to Daulatabad. It again starts moving from Daulatabad to Delhi. It involved a lot of money, wastage of time, wastage of resources, and also it made Muhammad bin Tughlaq immensely unpopular amongst his people. This was the second plan. Third, token currency. Today you all use the 10 rupee note, 100 rupee note, 5 rupee note, 500 rupee note, 1000 rupee note. The 2000 rupee note which we have, the 2000 rupee note, that pink color note which we have, or the 500 rupee note we have, if I just give you a piece of paper which will be of the same size of the 2000 rupee note, and if I tell you that okay, this paper has a value of 2000 rupees, you will be laughing at me. But if I give the similar paper which is signed by the government of India and also signed by the governor of the RBI, and it says that the value of this paper is 2000 rupees, and if I give it to you, you will be very happy. Why? Because it is a 2000 rupee note. Now this is what it actually means is that it is token money. The value of that paper is not 2000, but when there is the signature of the RBI governor, and when the RBI governor says that this value of this note is 2000 or value of this note is 500, it becomes a 500 rupee note or a 2000 rupee note. Now this is token currency. Previously, the kings, they used to have gold currencies and silver currencies. What started happening was that, you all know, a new coin, you all know that a new coin is shining, and after using it for many days, after it keeps on getting exchanged from this person to that, when the coin becomes old, what we normally find is that the coin is worn out, ragad gaya hai, ghis gaya hai. The coin, the metal with which the coin has been made, that metal is worn off, and the value of the coin starts coming down. Think of a gold coin. If I'm talking of a gold or a silver coin, pure gold, pure silver, what happens? As it keeps on moving in the market, the coin will get ghiste jayega, coin will start getting worn out, and that will reduce the amount of gold. So that will be a loss actually. Gold किसी का हाथ में तो नहीं आ रहा है, but धीरे धीरे वो chip off हो रहा है, रगड़ रहा है, घिस रहा है, छोटे छोटे particles में वो टूट जा रहा है. तो similar to weathering of rocks in geography. So वो gold का coin थोड़ा 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 करके chip off हो जा रहा है. what it is causing, it is bringing down the amount of gold. So it is a loss. And it was a very important thing that Muhammad bin Tughlaq thought of this, but then it failed. Why did it fail? Because he thought, जितना वैल्यू मेरा गोल्ड कॉइन का है मैं कॉपर कॉइन बना देता हूँ, and it will be a copper coin and it will have the same value, but it will be made of copper, a very less, very cheap metal. So he did that, but what started happening was that copper was easily available and people started making coins of their own. So there was a lot of fake coins in the market, and the market was flooded with fake coins, and it made the economy tumble. So the economy of the Delhi Sultanate, it suffered a very serious setback because of this. Had Muhammad bin Tughlaq thought of something which could have stopped the manufacture of fake coins, this plan would have been a grand success. And this is what the following governments did. Later on, today, modern day, what happens is we are doing the same thing. We are giving a paper which has the value of 2000 rupees. We are not giving a gold coin. But the value of all the money which is there in the market today, that amount of, it is only 20% of the entire gold which is there with the RBI. So it is actually the money which is there in circulation in the market today. It is 20% of the all the gold which is there with the RBI. But the RBI is not giving out gold coins. It is giving out normal coins and it is giving out notes. This was something which was thought of by Muhammad bin Tughlaq, but it failed because people, well, people made it fail for Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and people started bringing out fake coins. And there was one another thing. He wanted to. There was this invasion of Afghanistan. He wanted to He wanted to go over there. Why did he want to do that? Again, a very brilliant idea. This idea was that he knew all the people who have come to India to annex India, to invade India, they have come through the northwestern border of India, from Sindh, Multan, those areas which is there in modern day Pakistan. But back then it was part of India. Other parts of India are very safe. Why? Because we are surrounded by the Himalayas in the north, dense jungles, and the Sundarbans in the east. Then we have the sea in the west and the south. But then the northwestern part of areas near Pakistan, Multan, Sindh, that area is not guarded. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he understood that so as to keep the Delhi Sultanate safe, we should go over there. We should attack those people living over there. We should bring that area under the control of India, under the control of Delhi, so that any future invasion can be stopped. Very good idea. And what he did, a few blunders again, he paid the money, the salary of soldiers 6 months in advance. So what it did was that it ate up the royal treasury, and this plan also failed. The invasion failed, and it caused loss of two things: so much salary which was given out, so much money, and it caused the loss of men. It caused the loss of soldier. So these were the different plans of Muhammad bin Tughlaq which failed. But then these were very well thought of plans, but not executed properly. A lesson from his life: think of good plans, but also think of the ways to execute them properly. With this, let us end this part. Enjoy your holidays, this brief holiday, and celebration not outside, but then you can always celebrate at home, in your heart and in your mind. Thank you.